Hey you guys, this is Jess with Sourceful Journey, back with another video. This treatment I did on my skin has really got it glowing. In case you guys are wondering, I probably might do, I guess you could say, an unboxing of some of the items I typically get. I am a Sephora girl, so usually when it comes to my facial products, when it comes to my perfumes, things like that, I tend to get them from there. And I might do something like that on another video. We'll see, but it has got it feeling and looking amazing. It's really turned out pretty good this morning. I wanted to go ahead and do a quick video here with you guys. It's going to be more so on the topic of, and I actually wrote it down here. I'm looking at my notes in case you guys are wondering. They thought that you were the weakest link when you truly were the key piece, i.e. the lock that was needed to bring it all together. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about that. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in. So again, we're talking about they being those that you once held dear to you. Friends, family, co-workers, even maybe significant others, if you will, whether it was a boyfriend, girlfriend, whether it was husband, wife, you name it. That whole conglomerate. All this time, you kept giving people chances back to back to back, only to realize that you were spinning your wheels doing it for nothing. To understand that in doing so, you did it with pure intention, with a true positive heart, in hopes that maybe this person will change. Maybe these group of individuals will change for the better if I just continue to stick by them. Only to realize that the very energy you were putting into that scenario was really just going out the window. Think of it this way. If we were in a world where individuals had such a pious heart, such a loving heart, like you and I, right? If we all had that same perspective, that same heart when it came to dealing with one another, imagine what type of world this would be. Oftentimes I think about it. Was there ever a time within time of past? Was there ever a time where there were individuals like you and I who truly did have a love for one another? Was there ever a case where that might have shifted, where we are now in the scenario, the dynamic that we're looking at right now? You can't help but wonder. Things that make you say, I say all this to say, understand this. The very ones that you had to clean your hands with and be done and dealing with, do know they're feeling the brunt of it. And it's amazing when you think about those, especially a lot of us who are spiritually inclined, when certain things are being revealed to you and you're not even asking for it. You don't really give a damn to know about it. But in some ways being revealed to you, what's transpiring on the other end without them even saying anything. A lot of times they're choosing to be hush because they don't want you to know. They may feel in some way that you knowing what they're enduring at the moment may be some sense of gratification for you. Like maybe you may feel like, oh, mission accomplished. Not realizing that you truly would want the best for them, but you will also be one that truly understands that for every action there's a reaction, and they too have to go through the experiences in this education plane, meaning like the very things that they put out that was negative towards you, they now have to deal with the ramifications of that follows thereafter. And that's no fault of yours. That's something that they did. So it's kind of like that old saying, you made your own bed, now you have to sleep in it. That type of deal. I say all that to say, even with those who are feeling the brunt of the very actions that they've done and passed towards you, because God is now laying the smack down on every single last one of them. Trust me when I tell you this is happening. You know what? Still send them off with love and light. Still give them that sense of knowing that you are not out to seek ill will towards them, but that you do understand that what they're going through, they just have to do just that, go through it. And you, my friend, don't intervene. Don't do it, because what God is doing, what the spiritual team is doing, this is more so teaching them a lesson. Again, we are in an education plane. Every single last one of us here that lives, breathes, and eat on a daily basis, we're in the education plane. If you in any way try to intervene with that to try to lessen the actions that the spiritual space is trying to bestow on these people, you're going to be in for a rude awakening too. Don't fuck with it. So I say all that to say, again, send them off with love and light, but do understand that they now have to deal with the brunt of these results simply because of what they've done towards you. It's not for you to intervene. You have to allow it to play out. Just like you had to go through your spiritual awakening, just like there were times when you did things that you knew you were wrong in doing, i.e., I'll talk about myself. I know there are times in the past I might have done things, like I may have cut someone off in traffic because I was getting impatient because I felt like they were moving too darn slow. Or, I can't think of anything else. And Jeannie do me that, I can't think of anything else. The point I'm trying to drive home here is that even those little actions can lead to you getting taught a lesson from the spiritual space. Because you have to live your life, and anything that you do, think, say, whatever the case may be, it needs to be with pure intention and it needs to be with love. Think of this scenario, since we're talking about driving. Think of a time when maybe you cut someone off, right? Because you're just trying to get to your destination. You're like, oh, they're driving too slow. And yet you end up still getting stopped by a red light, only to meet that same individual that you cut off at the light. So you have to think to yourself, why did I even go through all that if I was going to get stopped by the light anyhow? And now I'm sitting here with this same individual I just cut off a few seconds ago. Do you see where I'm going with this? So I think for me, what is so funny, we do all these things thinking it's going to get us to our destination quicker, not realizing that it's really not. It's not anything that is significant enough for one to do an action like that. Meaning, think of it this way. Granted, you may get to your destination a few seconds early or a few seconds late, but at the end of the day, the good thing about all of it is that you still made it to your destination. So you have to ask yourself, to even cut someone off in traffic just to get there a few seconds early or whatever the case may be, is it really worth doing that action? It's not. It's not. So the point I'm trying to drive home in saying this is that, even some minor actions such as that, too, it also has lessons behind it. So the point I want to drive home is that even for individuals like us who are walking this path, who are aware of self, things of that nature, we too had to go through learning our lessons, and no one was there to help. Let's be honest. It was all our doing in getting through it and learning our lessons. And that's how we were able to progress onward in terms of our journey. You have to allow that other individual to do the exact same thing. As I mentioned a moment ago, do not intervene, because the moment you do, it's going to throw things off in regards to your path. You don't want to mess with that. Avoid it and just allow it to play out. Plain and simple. So the fact that they once thought that you were the weakest link, they now realize that you are truly not the weakest link, that you are in fact the lock that was needed to hold it all together. They know it now, and the reality of it all, it's a little too late. People have to understand this actually was a part of the process. It was a part of the process for them to understand this, and they were given a chance. They were given a chance on whether they wanted to continue to act out the way they did and treating you like the weakest link, or were they going to embrace you for who you truly are and allow you to mold together as one, as that lock that's needed to close things all together, to make things more connected, more solid. Sadly enough, they fumbled the ball on that one. And they may have, in fact, done this in a past life, too. See, you're going to keep going through those same lessons over and over every single time. You're going to keep going through it every single time until you get it right. And if you don't get it right, well, that's another lesson you have to revisit in the next lifetime. The moment people can start to realize that, as I mentioned in previous videos, slow up, pay close attention. Have you ever encountered a situation? Let me give you another example. It just hit me to say this. Think of a time when you worked at a certain company, a certain establishment, right? And you dealt with these different individuals, different personality types. We deal with this all across the board, whether you're working in the corporate space, like a lot of us came from corporate, or if you worked in, let's say, a factory, or let's say hospitality, or fast food, you name it. You deal with so many different personality types, right? Follow me on this. And some you may like, some you may not be too fond of. It happens. Let's say you sever ties with that company and you move into another establishment that is dealing with the same work dynamic. And let's just say you realize, well, I'll be damned. I had literally just left a certain environment because of dealing with XYZ or this type of personality or this type of individual. But now I'm in this new environment and I'm dealing with the same individuals, the same type of individual. My mom used to say, bless her, but I used to love all the old school sayings and things that she used to tell me back in the day as I was coming up. And even to her final days, a lot of stuff that she said rang true. And I was like, she was right. Mama was right. I truly will forever remember those conversations, and I will truly forever hold them to heart and apply them accordingly. Now, hear me when I say this. The reason why you are encountering that scenario, again, if people slow up, and I want you guys to think about this after this video is done. The reason why you're coming across those same individual types, those personality types with different people, because my mom, she used to say, I meant to make this statement. She made a statement that every environment you go into, you're going to come across the same personality type. The only thing that changes is the face and the name. Think about that. Could that be true? I know for me personally, I would say it's pretty darn true. And the reason for it is because there's something that you need to overcome when it comes to dealing with that type of individual or those group of individuals in order to be able to move beyond those scenarios. So meaning, if you're dealing with someone who seems to be a bit of a troublemaker, if you're dealing with an individual who tends to be, I guess you could say more of a narcissist. We'll say that because there's narcissists in the workplace too, managers included. If you keep encountering those scenarios with those type of individuals and you keep running from it, you keep running because you just don't want to deal with the drama, blah, 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 rather than combating it on a spiritual level, meaning like not allowing it to affect you and continue to stay focused and continue to move forward in terms of your work, but allowing them to see that it's not affecting you. You're going to continue to keep encountering that until you face that, I wouldn't say fear, until you face that challenge. So for me personally, what I started doing when I noticed the pattern, and I was like, as the Southern folks would say, I be doggone. When I realized that, okay, this is starting to be a repetitive pattern, and there's a reason why it's happening in this fashion. Let me just go ahead and tack this head on. You just got to go ahead and get into that bulldog mentality and just do just that. Attack it head on. Once you have done that, you'll start to see things within the environment start to change. Getting a tongue twister here. You will start to notice things within the environment starts to change with those individuals. In some way or another, God may remove them in various ways, like i.e. they may get terminated, or they may move to a different department, or they may in fact learn to actually like you and deal with you, and you might start to see their energy change towards you. You're like, what's this all about? It's because in some way or another, you accomplished the task that God was trying to get you to see to get through in this lifetime. I say all that to say, at the end of the day, those of past that you've dealt with, they now truly realize that you, my friend, were the lock that was needed to keep the entire piece together. And now that they've lost it, that's on them. They now have to deal with the ramifications of that follows thereafter. And that's no doing on your end. That's doing of what they've actually done on their side. Furthermore, when it comes to these life lessons, you guys, don't run from it. attack it head on like a bulldog. Because at the end of the day, if you don't, it's going to continue to revisit you over and over and over. And it will do so, not just all 369. It's so funny. Okay. Just so you guys are aware, when you see 369, it just means that you're in alignment. Always remember that. And also, when it comes to looking at certain signs and synchronicities, things like that, make sure you pay attention to that. Look into the different resources that are online pertaining to these things, because this is what is put in place to help you move further along in your journey, okay? So, in regards to your journey, continue to move forward. Again, as far as what they're going through in terms of their doing of the past, don't intervene, okay? Don't intervene at all, because it will affect you in regards to your journey. Because think of it this way: God, who's the head of it all, the spiritual space, who's backing the entire process, they are a part of the teaching group. God is the ultimate teacher in all of this. He's like the superintendent, if you will, right? Who are you? Because technically we are smaller pieces in this game, this school, right? Who are you to intervene to try to stop the smackdown that is being put down on these individuals because of some actions that they actually done towards you that was uncalled for, right? It's good for us to forgive and move forward, but let it be just that. Because if you try to intervene with a lesson that's being taught towards these individuals, that's going to affect things on your end. Do you really want to mess that up? I wouldn't. That is all for today's video, you guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I am noticing the uptick in the followers. I definitely say hello to the new people moving in and joining the family here. I love to see it. And again, keep those emails and messages coming. I'm getting you guys messages in my DM section as well as my emails. And I don't leave people in red. Rest assured in that I do interact with you guys. Furthermore, I do want to point out that consultations are still open this week, so definitely take advantage of it if it is something that is of interest to you. Furthermore, as far as other things I do outside of this, I do, of course, work, but I also actually am into keynote speaking and motivational speaking, so I am in that space as well. If there is an event that you have going on that your organization would like for me to come and speak to, we would need to have a conversation. So someone from the head of your organization would need to reach out to me, where we go over the details from there. So that is a part of my field house as well. Other than that, you guys, I'm definitely sending you with love and light, and I will see you in the next video. Be blessed, you guys.